The New England Patriots just found a hidden gem. Let's talk about it. My name is Aaron. On the daily Patriots content, don't miss out. Subscribe, hit the like button, and comment below. So we know after the draft, the big thing that happens is teams go after undrafted free agents. A lot of times these are players that were on the team's radar when it came to the later rounds and potentially onward to the point where it's, hey, this person would look good potentially on the practice squad, and we have the potential to develop them. Now, there's one person in particular, multiple people on the team, but I want to break it down player by player. And the first player I want to talk about, and the one I would say I'm most excited about, and I will give you time right now to comment of the undrafted free agents, who are you most excited for? And maybe this video will change your mind. But the one I'm most excited for is C.J. Dupree. Now, C.J. Dupree, I'll give you a little history. Alabama tight end, a traditional size tight end, 6'5", almost 260, big boy that can run, combination where he's a great blocker, as well as the fact he can catch the ball. Now, catching is one of the big issues. His receiving game is one of the big issues that a lot of people think he dropped in the draft and wasn't ended up drafted. A lot of people projected him to be anywhere from a 5th to 7th round draft pick. But this guy right here, I am telling you, he is a tried and true tight end in a Josh McDaniels system. First and foremost, as we talked about, he can block. He can block on the move. So you put him at H-back, you put him into motion, boom, at the end of the line, he can do it as well. And then he can also split out and do some blocking as well. So he's very versatile in that sense. Now, again, I would tell you that his receiving game, you jump into his stats super quick, aren't anything to write home about. At the University of Alabama, he had 32 receptions for about, just over 400 yards and didn't even have a touchdown reception at his time in Alabama. Now, he did transfer. He started his first 2 years at the University of Maryland, and in his freshman and sophomore year, I guess really impressed, transferred to Bama. Good enough where he transferred in the Nick Saban year. So again, was doing something right. And I think one of those big things is the fact that he is a great, again, more of that traditional tight end that is a great blocker. And so that is one thing that is huge and is going for him. Now, as we continue down, you look at his 40, for being that size to be able to run a sub 4.7 is absolutely just ungodly. It's crazy. Vertical jump, almost 35. Bench press, this is the one that always blows my mind, 32. That is 225, 32 times. Crazy. So again, he has those attributes as an athlete for his size. He has a lot of power. Now we look at his strengths when breaking down in the combine. And as I said already, he has a good frame, athletic talent. He has a lot of potential. That is the reason he was an undrafted free agent and that he wasn't drafted. Is yes, he is a very superior run blocker, pass blocker. He can block any way you want. When it comes to catching, that wasn't necessarily one of his strong suits. As well, he plays through contested catches as a big man, works clear from coverage when plays extends, breaks tackles with his physical run after the catch. Who the heck does that sound like? Maybe Gronk a little bit. Fits up zone blocks with good footwork and balance. Versatile to play in line or as a lead blocker. Again, you play the Y, you play the H, you play off the line, wherever you want. The man can block someone. As well, on top of the fact that he has the size, he has the versatility to be able to block and catch the ball with a lot of, again, potential in that area to improve when it comes to his receive game. You go down the list as well. One thing that is really good about Dupree is the fact that he is incredibly football smart, has a very, very high football IQ. So again, bringing a guy into the organization like this, yes, I'm not going to disagree. It would be ideal if you had some better receiving numbers and you were better in this area. And obviously, he probably would have gotten drafted if that were the case. But that hopefully is something they can work with, especially with the fact that he has a very high football IQ that a lot of people have talked about, and that he can get into and understand playbooks very, very well. So that's another huge thing. But the biggest thing is the fact that, one, you look at him, you look at his style and play, and that is going to fit well, very, very well, in a Josh McDaniels system. Now, the question becomes, you look at a guy like this, and yes, there's other tight ends, that are on the team that potentially could get cut and all this stuff. But we look at the first three right now. We look at Henry Hunter, no issues. He's safe, obviously. Austin Hooper, safe. But then you look at Jaheim Bell. And the big question for Jaheim Bell is his big thing was he's versatile. He can do a lot of different things. And even last year, if you remember, we talked about, is it possible that AVP tries him out at fullback? And there were some practices that he was at fullback. So then the question becomes, is that possible that Josh McDaniels does that? And then they put Dupree in more of a traditional tight end set. Again, undrafted free agent. I'm not saying he's going to go out there, start and shock the world. I'm not saying that at all. But again, if he can be developed, you take this huge potential and develop him, he can surprise a lot of people. I truly believe that. You don't just stumble upon Alabama and Nick Saban to, as a matter of fact, as the head coach, like I said earlier, and not be that good. Again, I think he could be a huge asset for this team moving forward as he develops, especially in a Josh McDaniels offense. So again, let's break it down. Versatile, can block as well, can catch, but has a lot of room to improve there. High football IQ, has the size, has the ability. He has all the intangibles to be a great tight end for the Patriots in this McDaniels system. What do you think? Comment below. Again, of all the undrafted free agents, and down the road, we will continue to talk about these undrafted free agents. This guy, CJ Dupree, is someone that I am very excited about. I saw it and I said, yep, know who he is. Saw him play multiple times for Alabama. This year, actually saw him play twice against the University of Michigan in the Rose Bowl, and then this past year in their bowl game. And so both of which they lost, which I was cheering for Bama because I'm a Michigan State fan. But anyways, that is beside the point. Absolute dog, ton of potential. Can the Patriots develop them? Can this organization develop them? I think so. What do you think? Comment below. So we look at his stats again. Again, nothing to write home about, but a lot of times when you have a traditional blocking tight end that has the potential upside of being a better receiver, you think to yourself, listen, he can do this. His blocking isn't necessarily, you're not going to see that on the stat sheet, the box score. Not going to see it. And again, we also have to understand Alabama's offense. A lot of times, look at other tight ends that have came out of there that are less of a traditional tight end, that are more of this more contemporary tight end that can split out and do all these different things. Essentially, you're talking about a receiver that literally has put more weight on, let's be honest, and is a little more physical when it comes to the point of contact and all these different things. And so he was not that. He was more on the traditional side. So I understand Alabama throwing the ball to these other tight ends more. So again, what do you think, CJ Dupree? Yay or nay? Are you excited about him, or do you think he's going to be a flop? Let's hear it. Next up, the Patriots released 6 players after this year's draft. I'm going to be honest with you, none of these should really surprise you. Jaquay Jackson, the wide receiver, that is one guy that, in my opinion, this says here that Andrew was the most notable because he was drafted in 2023. Sure, I will give you that. He played in 16 games with 1 start at left guard as a rookie in 2023. And then he spent this last year on the injured reserve. Sure, that's probably the most notable. But again, Jackson was one of those guys that he as a wide receiver in college, he was really, really good. But also understanding, you look at the roster, they just got Williams and they have a bunch of other young talent. There's only so much room. You got to go. Chances are, some of those guys as well are going to make the practice squad as those wide receivers. So again, I'm sure someone will take a chance on him, pick him up. Who knows? Probably practice squad guy, obviously. But he was someone that I had done a video on a while ago and I was really excited about. So last but not least, as we continue on that, the wide receiver train, we were talking about Jackson, and then jumping into this, we know Kyle Williams comes in. They spent a 3rd-round pick on him. Great pickup. Can absolutely pop the top off a defense. A crazy vertical threat. hits top speed incredibly quick, is going to be fun to see as a Patriot. And we can only hope he is a Patriot wide receiver that pans out for this organization. Now, the question is, looking at this wide receiver room, just like Jackson being released, well, it is crowded. There's a lot of people in here. So what is that gonna look like in the wide receiver room? My guess is you're going to, obviously you're most likely going to see cuts, but you're also very possibly seeing some younger guys be put on the practice squad. So again, moving forward, who are those people going to be? So already you have Stephon Diggs, Mac Hollins, Kayshon Boutte, Jalen Polk, Javon Baker. You have Kyle Williams. You have Kendrick Bourne, and then you have, so that's 7 right there. That's 7. If they want to keep 7, sure. And that's a possibility. It's very possible. They went into last year, I believe, with 7. And then I believe after they dropped Osborne, I think they went down to 6. It was something in that realm, I believe. So 6 or 7, I would assume. And then John Giles is still there. He'll most likely go on the practice squad. And so we'll see going from there. But again, interesting. Also, at least one undrafted free agent. Another one was a wide receiver from what I remember. So again, what is that going to look like moving forward, going into this, into training camp, into the 2025-2026 season? Again, it's going to be a lot to talk about, and I'm going to enjoy it. But I think Kyle Williams can easily elbow his way in there and get some playing time in a lot of it. Speed kills, baby. And Kyle Williams, Pop Douglas, they got it. They got it. And those other guys, potential, but who's going to show it? Especially of these younger guys, this younger core, who is going to step up for this team? I'm excited to see it, and I think that Mike Vrabel and this organization, Josh McDaniels, are going to really bring the best out of these guys. So comment below, tell me what you think, whether it's about Dupree, whether about these drops, the wide receivers, whatever the heck you want to talk about. Notice I'm absolutely fried right now. I had to announce a track meet, walk around the football field with a microphone, and didn't put any sunscreen on. So RIP to my skin. It is burning, but hopefully it'll tan. Maybe tomorrow I'll be tan for you guys. Who knows? But before you leave, comment below. Don't miss out on any of the new merch below in the link. If you'd love to support me, mean the world to me, as we're changing a little bit from Sports Talk Patriots, Sports Talk New England. Mean the world to me. I love every one of you. We'll talk later. Peace.